Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. Today is going to be a unpackaging video and talking about holsters for pistols with tactical lights or red dot sights. So here we go. Inside, actually, you know what? I don't even need the knife for this. I should be able to just peel it right open. So I have recently acquired a red dot sight equipped pistol, and I have been wanting to get one for a minute now, I guess you could say, and finally got a hold of one. Glock 47 with a Holosun sight for right now. I am going to be transitioning into a Trijicon RMR, but for right now the Holosun will suffice. So all my other holsters would not accommodate a pistol with a red dot sight. So my roadblock, so to speak, into getting into this is not just the cost of the red dot sights itself, but also the gun itself. You have to have a gun that can accept the sights, or send your existing one off and have it milled out so that you can attach it. So cost of the sight, cost of the gun, and then the cost of the holsters. Well, I have my concealed holsters and I have my duty holsters, and you start adding 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 different things. That adds up pretty quick. So it's not a quick, easy, well, I'm going to go to a red dot pistol sight. Boom, now I'm going to get into it. No, well, it can be that quick, I guess, if you have a big enough disposable income, which I do not. But for most people, it's just not something you can switch into right then and there. And another cost associated with it is the ammunition. This is a learning curve. I have to retrain myself, so to speak, on this red dot sight. So I'm going to have to spend at minimum around 1,000 rounds just to start getting decent with this, and then progress later from there to distinguished, obviously firing a whole lot more rounds. So it's more than just getting this thing and wearing it. You have to have the support gear for it, and you have to put in your trigger time to get acquainted with it. So I'm almost there. The last step of this is the trigger time. So I'm going to be taking a class with a buddy of mine who's been in the red dot game for a little bit, and then I'm going to be transitioned over into red dot. So I didn't feel like putting my duty belt on the table here, but I have a very similar holster to this. This is a Safariland, and the other holster I have on my duty belt is a Safariland. It's just like this, but it has the hood that goes on it, similar to what you see right here. But this one is just a level 1 because it doesn't have the ALS part. This has just the ALS, and this is just the SLS. So this, no worky, like it won't go in there, right? Because the red dot blocks it. It will not go in there. Same with, well, up until yesterday, same thing with my concealed carry holsters. I cut the material out, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but up until I cut this material out, when I would go put the gun in, it would stop right there. It would not go any further. Now, since I've cut that material out, it does go further. It does sit in this, inside that spot. So, for the duty grade holster, I needed to get an actual holster made for red dot sights. I could not modify this existing holster. Reason being is part of the locking mechanism for the gun would be right in here, and if I cut that out, well, the gun would no longer be secured in the holster. So let's get this new holster out of the package. All right, so we have got the Safariland, and I forgot what the number for it was. It's the 6360 RDS 897241. It's made for Glock 47, or really a Glock 17, with Surefire X300U, and of course red dot sight. Take some of this packaging crap out. Don't need it. So this thing, once you pop that hood down, it disengages the sight cover. So you can see the sight cover is right there. And then you can push the hood back up and this will remain down. But this is in place so that when the gun is holstered, the sight is covered. That way you don't have a bunch of gunk collecting inside the window there, which is pretty cool. The downside to inside the waistband holsters, the bulk of which I've seen, is they don't have a cover like this on them. So the sight is kind of exposed, but when you're doing concealed carry, your shirt and stuff should be over it, so you shouldn't be having a whole lot of stuff getting in there, but you can have that possibility of your body lint getting into it. So if you really do truly EDC your gun, then you know how much dust and lint collects on your gun just from wearing it every single day. So I'm kind of curious to see what it's going to be like when I start concealed carrying this thing on a daily basis. How much lint and stuff is going to collect in there. I'm probably going to have to figure something out on that. But anyway, for duty use, this is the workaround on that. So gun goes in, locks in place, and then boom, push the sight cover over, and then boom, it covers your sight. Now obviously there's a little bit of a gap right there, so you know, some debris can still kind of go in there, but like big clunks of stuff are not going to be getting in there and getting on that sight, which is a plus. Now the problem for me right now, that I suspect is going to be a problem for me, is my weapon mounted light. So I run a grip switch on this, and on my other holsters I have had to take a Dremel and kind of smooth this out so that that grip switch right there, which adds a little bit more space, could fit in there nicely without binding up, which I can't put this one in here because I have the sight on it. So I suspect that when I go to insert this, I'm going to meet resistance. Yep. So I'm going to have two options at this point. One, I'm going to have to not run the grip switch on it, or I'm going to have to take a Dremel and smooth this out, sand it out, so that this piece can fit in there. And it's just, I don't know if the clarity will show it or not, but I mean, it's so close. It really is. It's just so close right there. Just a hair, right? So it's something I have to figure out. Do I want to take a Dremel to a brand new expensive holster and potentially void any warranty on it, or just stop rocking the grip switch on here? I do like the grip switch. I do like that ability to present gun, have it one-handed, and activate the light with my middle finger while my support hand is doing something else, or even if that support hand is out of the fight, I can still present that gun do the momentary with my middle finger, activate it. Otherwise, the only other way to activate the light is with the trigger finger itself, and then pushing down and then pushing back up. I don't 100% like my trigger finger playing around with the light while it's right there at the trigger area. That's why I like the middle finger just supplying just a little bit of pressure and then activating that light that way. So that's something I have to figure out on this holster. Now I'll go ahead and take this thing off and just set it to the side for demo purposes. Put the weapon mounted light back on there. Boom. Alright, so, and then gun, boom, clicks into holster, no problem. Alright, so that is the Safariland 6360 RDS holster. Now, my conceal carry holsters, what I kind of alluded to already is that I've had to do some modifications to them. So you can see right here where I've cut into the holster and it's cut out part of the logo for this particular brand. I've had to remove up to there of material to be able to get this to be able to fit in flush. Otherwise, I would not have been able to do it. It would have stopped about right there and it would not have been properly in. And then, of course, I did it with one of the other holsters that is not made for a weapon mounted light, just in case in the future, for whatever reason, I want to be able to let students who have a red dot equipped holster, or I'm sorry, red dot equipped pistol without a light, they could be able to borrow this holster. Or if I, for whatever reason, have a pistol that doesn't have a weapon mounted light, which is not going to be likely. I'm a firm believer that fighting guns should have lights on them. You shouldn't be able to have a 24/7 gun. So, like I said, I took a Dremel and I cut out the material, took a razor and kind of cut off the burrs, smoothed it out, used a sander and sanded a little bit on there, and boom. Could it be buffed to look like the edges right here? Yes, most certainly. I just don't have a buffing wheel on the Dremel package, but it's something that could be done later. When you think about Kydex holsters like this, when they're made by the Kydex people, the benders, as they sometimes call themselves, when they make this, you know, they take the mold of the gun, they heat up the Kydex, they wrap it around it, and they press it down into the mold or whatever and start to let it cool and harden. Then they take it out and then they cut it to shape. They take a cutting wheel and they run it through the cutting wheel or the table saw and zip, 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 cut it. And then they drill out the holes for the attachments, right? And then they clean up all the edges and buff out the corners right here, make them a little bit smoother so they don't, they don't stick or don't hurt whenever you wear it against your body. What I did is virtually the same thing that the Kydex people do. I just didn't have a nice buffing wheel to really buff this out and make it as soft and buffed out as these corners right here that you can see. So it kind of has a more of how do you say, sharper profile to it or something like that. So that's something that you can do for holsters like this, right? Because it's the same thing they're going to do. They use Dremels with cutting wheels to do their cuts. So you're doing the same thing they are. If they can do it, you can do it. Now, when it comes to holsters like this, you're not going to be able to do that. Number one, the locking mechanism's in here. As soon as you start cutting in this thing, you're going to ruin it. Even if you have a lower level style holster like this one, the level 1 holster that just has the SLS on it, could you cut into this? Yeah, you potentially could. There are people out there who have done that. Do I recommend that? No, not for this style of duty grade holster. I just wouldn't recommend doing that. But if you was going to do it, I think it would be more, I would be more comfortable with the idea of someone doing it with this style of retention holster. It's just level 1, just the hood on there, doesn't have the lock-in mechanism on the inside. I think you could more safely get away doing it with this style. This style, on the other hand, no, there's no reason why you should be cutting into anything that's going to be a part of the retention itself. Other modifications, you know, sanding this stuff out to make grip switches fit, you know, that's a whole nother thing right there. But cutting into retention stuff, no. Take the money, save it, and get a good holster. I also had ordered with this the quick locking system, QLS. It was not in this package, so I guess it's going to be coming in a second package. Because all this packing slip has right here is just a holster, but the QLS will be coming in something else. And I'll do a video on it once it gets here, but basically what the QLS does is kind of takes this away, so to speak, so that the holster itself is not always permanently attached to the belt. It has a female adapter on the duty belt, and then the holster itself has the male adapter, and then you can just click it in to the belt and it stays locked in. And then when you need to, you can press these little forks at the bottom and boom, take it out and then put it on another belt. So got that. It's supposed to be on the way. I thought it was going to be coming in this one, but obviously it's not here yet. But like I said, when I get that, I'll do a whole video on that, because that's a pretty cool little piece of equipment to have, to be able to have some versatility with belt setup and everything. All right, so that is it on the unpackaging of the new holster and talking about holsters for red dot equipped pistols. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.